Hey guys, my name's Bumpa, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down a VOD of my friend Shio Wager. He's going to be playing Sova on Ascent, and in this video I'm really going to be looking at like the macro mechanics of Sova. I'm going to be looking at like dart timings, what's a good area to dart, a bad area to dart, and stuff like that. We're not going to be really looking at lineups or anything like that. We're going to break down what makes a good Sova and how to properly use his utility, and we're going to be comparing it to one of my own VODs. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start this video on round 1, attacker side pistol, and Shio is going to get himself into a post-plant situation here. As you can see, he gets his recon dart back in 3 seconds, and he gets the bomb down. His teammate closes market door, and they call to play double back sight, right? So Shio and his teammate both go back sight, and before he goes back sight, Shio chucks his dart out into sight, and most of the time, in my opinion, retakes are initiated by some sort of utility, or you can at least jiggle for info when a retake is happening. So I really don't like using his dart here this early. If he had saved this dart for when they were actually trying to retake, Shio could have messed up an enemy's crosshair placement or gotten a free scan on somebody, which would have made the fight for him a lot easier. But instead, he uses his last piece of utility really, really early, and now he has no util going into the rest of this post plant. So Shio's playing triple. For example, what I would have had done is I probably would have waited for market door to break, or I would have just had like one person look for info on lane and one person look for info on stairs. And once the enemy makes contact, that's when Shio uses his dart. That way, the dart is like a relevant pressure rather than just a little fly that they swat instantly. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but like the dart went up and landed up top, and instantly it was broken. So it applied no pressure, and it really got him 0 info. So proper dart timing would have been to wait until the retake was actually happening, and then dart it above the enemy team. So as you can see, the retake happens. He doesn't really have info. He's pressed up in this box. The Killjoy puts their turret down. So imagine if he had his dart when the Killjoy put the turret down, because that would have been the initiator utility that the defending team used to start the retake, would be that turret. And had Shio had his recon dart, he could have darted off of the turret or just jiggled for info. But he ends up going down, and they end up losing this pistol round. Honestly, it came down to gunfights and this guy not realizing he was being pushed. But if Shio had had his dart, this retake would have probably been a lot harder for the defender side. So let's look at the next example. Alright, so the next example I have is, it looks like his team is doing a 5-man A push, and Shio is lining up a sight dart for when they execute. And as you can see here, Shio shoots his dart way too early. A good execute dart will be something that lands as your other teammate's utility is coming out as well. And then the flood and the pressure of utility that is being sent at the defending team is like the pressure that gets you into the bomb site. So he shoots his dart really, really early, and look, his teammate's still walking in main. Like, this dart, if somebody was sitting generator or wherever, they could have just shot this dart and he would have gotten no use out of it, no info at all. So, yeah. Like, and now he's running in first. So this just comes down to communication. Shio should have asked when his teammates were going, or he should have been paying attention to when they were getting ready to go. They have a raise, they have a Reyna, they have slows. You know, if Shio had communicated like, all right, when Reyna starts flashing out, then I'll shoot my dart. Because then, like, if a Reyna flashes high and there's a dart coming in, and then say Ray's boombots off this wall and he nades back sight, all that utility will make the site that much harder for the enemy team to hold. But Shio shoots his dart way too early, and while it works out, it only works out because he's not playing against great players, right? If he had shot this dart in a high elo lobby, it would have been broken instantly, and he would have gotten no info out of it and no pressure out of it. So having proper dart timing like that for when you're actually executing is very important. Also, he has all this other util, and they're going into a site with Killjoy. He could have used his drone to scout for mollies, and then shock darted the mollies, etc. Or like he could have gotten info with his drone and then found out where they're playing, and then he calls, okay, let's execute. Then all the utility comes out at the same time. But they do end up taking the site. They just don't hold the post plant, and it's very, very difficult because now it's 4v5 and they're being flooded. So yeah, let's look at another example. Hey guys, fun reminder that I stream every day on Twitch from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out all this fun content that you're missing out on. Man, like there's no rhyme or reason about anything. I just lose. I just lose. I lose. I lose. I lose. I lose, man. I feel good about myself. I feel good about the day. I'm one game off of getting Radiant back, and I just fucking lose. I'm just a loser. I lose. That's what I do. Alright, so here we have Shio and his team. It looks like they're now doing a 5-man B site hit. Shio has full utility, Spectre and half armor, and we're going to completely ignore the fact how they didn't use any utility to clear B main. If there had been a guy here, he was dead. We're going to ignore that, and we're going to look at the fact that how he's running in first with full Sova utility. So, he just says, I'm just going, and he's just sending it. He's just bashing his head against the wall against the enemy team's utility. Like, they don't have any info where any of these players are playing, even though they have the ability to get it with Sova's utility. They don't use any utility to initiate. The only utility they've used is a Viper Wall. Reyna could have flashed, Shio could have darted, etc., etc. But this is just a bad use of Sova utility, or just a lack, or just refusing to use it outright. And honestly, I have no idea how they end up winning this round. Like, it's literally just sheer dumb luck. This is just Plat things. Like, some things you just can't quantify as to how they win. Like, this was played very, very poorly by the attacking side, but just by dumb luck, it ended up working out. So, but that's not what we're here to look at. This is the important thing, is that even though they win this round, it is important to recognize how poorly this round was played. This was a horrible, horrible round. Everything that they did was wrong almost. They just happened to win their gunfights. So it's very important that you are able to realize this and learn from rounds that even though you won them, you can recognize the fact that you did not play it well. So let's move on to another example. So jumping into the next half, we're going to be taking a look at defender side pistol. Shio is anchoring on the B site, and the enemy team is splitting through market, and I don't like this dart. He's going to shoot his dart into market itself, but the thing about it is that you can't really play off this dart if he shoots it into market, right? It doesn't help this Reyna, because it's not like this Reyna can spam through the market walls, and it doesn't really help him because the enemies are pushing out onto site onto him, right? And had the dart been up here, it would have gotten more scans on the enemy, and it would have put more pressure on the enemies coming back out into sight. They would have had to come out the market door, turn around, do a full 180, and look up in order to break a dart up here. But instead, he shoots the dart past them into market, into the choke point that they were coming through, rather than putting it above the exit that they're coming out of. Little disclaimer: this dart actually does end up working out, kind of, just because the market opening is so wide. But the principle that I'm trying to drill here is that you want to scan for the choke point that they're coming out of rather than scanning into the choke point, right? Because they're coming out of the choke point, so the dart's not going to scan them anymore, and it's not going to actually alleviate any pressure on you as a site defender, right? So he gets lucky because the dart is, like, it's high enough up here that it's coming through this little gap. But it's such a narrow line of sight, right? If he had put it up top, the dart would have scanned this whole area rather than just this small line of sight. And maybe it would have scanned this Killjoy, and there's actually an Omen coming through. It might have scanned this Killjoy and this Omen before they had gotten into the smoke, and Shio might have been able to get a pick or two through the smoke with this. So always scan for the choke point, or always scan for your side of the choke point rather than shooting the dart through the choke point. All right, so this is the last round of Shio's that we'll be looking at before we switch over to my gameplay. He's dealing with a B rush here. I like this shock dart. I like the way that he plays this. They didn't initiate with the Omen flash, but he still times the shock dart very good. And it's actually, it probably does more damage to them than he got taken to him. But I don't like this dart. It's kind of the same principle as the market dart, right? So I would have rather seen the dart up here rather than in this window. Sure, if they come out wide enough on sidewalk, it will still scan them there. But the problem is that by not putting the dart above B main, it doesn't allow any opportunities for your Reyna to get picks through the smoke with this dart. And in my opinion, this dart was still pretty poorly timed. You shot it really, really early. when they had only done the first boombot. I would have liked to have seen a second shock dart, you drop in a sight, and then the dart comes out, right? Rather than shock dart, recon, shock dart. But look, they're still not out, and your dart has already completely disappeared. You no longer have your recon dart up and alleviating pressure from you, and now there's really no counter util at all for the defenders to use when this B push is coming in. So Omen ults into the back of sight, and you get a pick. This guy gets caught with a flash out, and honestly, if you had that dart up above B main, like when I recommended it, you probably wouldn't have taken this damage here, and your teammate and this round would have been a lot cleaner in general. But, you know, like I said, sometimes things work out even though you played them poorly. So it's always important to look back and be able to understand that. All right, let's jump into my gameplay and compare the two. All right, so now let's take a look at my gameplay and how I play Sova. Different outfit, same bumpa, you know the drill. But yeah, let's get into it. So here we have me and my teammate in a 2 versus 3 situation. And I am playing A main because my dart comes up in 5 seconds, and I know that I can buy that time in order to support dart from A main if I get smoked off. So I hear these guys in tree, and I preemptively ulted heaven in order to see if I can get some early damage off. I'm not really going to vouch for this ult very much. You know, it might not have been the best one, but it is what it is. Probably wasn't the best idea, but, you know. The ult actually probably buys a little bit of time because I probably cut off their pathway into the door. So it stalls them for half a second, but still. It didn't get any damage off of it, so not really worth it. And afterwards, because I was ulting, I know the enemy team knows that my teammate is isolated in sight. So I immediately pull up my dart, and I throw it up for him in order to give him a little bit of support. And it's at a very good time. The Sage is swinging heaven. The smoke comes in on A main, and I come through the smoke afterwards in order to support my Omen who's playing Generator, rather than stay behind the smoke and give this Omen 2 1v1s. I come through the smoke and take the 2v1 with my teammate. My teammate throws a great blind for Jenny, and we clean up the Omen. So let's take a look at another round. So this round we are down 8-12, and our economy is pretty shot. So unfortunately this round I have an Ares. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen for noise. And if I hear something, I'm going to scan B main and try and spam. But honestly, I'm not a big fan of wasting my dart B main at the start of every round. I'd much rather use it for middle or to support my teammates on A, rather than scanning B main. I feel like it doesn't do too much for you, and it leaves you susceptible to like a B rush if they break the dart. Then you don't really have any like counter utility as they come out, and it makes you very easy to overwhelm on sight. So I don't end up hearing anything in B main. I don't throw the dart. My teammates call that they're hearing a bunch of players at A, so I rotate over. I'm going to give you guys a dart. Get ready to spam. I preemptively like to throw this dart in A main just in case the enemies decide they're coming out. You can't really see it because unfortunately my minimap covers the overlay, but they did throw a dart into sight as shown by that little yellow ring. So I dart as well in order to try and get something there in order to help my teammates out if they do decide to run out into sight. They're not in. The walls and the wall and the Sage slows have delayed the enemy team from coming out though. And I go into garden. Now, I don't know if you saw this, but my Cypher has actually pushed all the way through B main and is now in T spawn, holding the enemy team's fallback. So I know the only place that they can be is middle. Here, let me see if I can. Right here. So my Cypher's pushed all the way through B main. So I know they can't be in this area. We have teammates controlling A. We've called that they're not up cat yet, and we have a tripwire mid. So I know that the only place they can really be is, you know, this area right here, right? So I rotated over to tree, and I get the tree, and the execute isn't actually coming on A. So once I get to tree, I am going to use my drone in order to gather information at middle. I can't see it. And this drone proves very, very useful. Because I'm droning middle and I know that they're not trying to rotate through it, it means that the timing on their hit is going to be longer because they're rotating back through T-spawn. After my Cypher goes down, I preemptively rotate, and I get into B site. And now I'm just sort of listening for information. I'm saving all my utility. I don't want to dart B main, because I know these guys are probably going fast from A back to B. So I don't want to preemptively dart B, because then I don't have my dart for if they're actually running out, which means that I have no counter utility. So I hear this Omen ult back site, and because I rotated early after my Cypher died, I catch a timing on him, get a free pick in the back of the site, and now I'm going to dart for the run out. Don't scan anything on the run out. They're B main. Pop my ult blindly on the Sage and B main, get a free pick, and the dart went away, and now they're out. The Jet is now stairs, and now it just comes down to hitting shots. So pretty cleanly played round from me. Good use of Sova util, the dart to preemptively hold for the A rush, the drone to get information on their rotation paths, and then the dart again to both buy time and gather information on whether or not they were coming out B on me. So let's take a look at one more round. All right, so here I have me and my Cypher in a 2v3 retake, and my Cypher is fighting from door. So I decide that I'm gonna dart for it scans back generator. It scans like in the area close to door. It'll even scan side generator, but I throw this dart. 2 players are peeking below me, and honestly, I just hit some nasty shots.
One enemy remains.
We pinched the guy in dice, and the dart freed up this space for my Cypher to feel comfortable peeking. The dart also clears right side of generator, so he knows that he can take this fight pretty freely. And the res came in as well, so we know that the Sage has to be on site somewhere. Yeah, she rezzed. And there it just comes down to hitting good timings and hitting our shots. So using my Sova utility in order to support my teammate who's having to solo clear out spots on the map works very well. And that's just the sort of type of things that you have to be thinking about when you're playing Sova. You got to be thinking about what information do you need in order to cut down the number of angles that you have to peek in order to take fights. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this comparison. Hopefully this will make you guys a little bit better of a Sova player. It will improve your dart timings. It will improve your macro game, your micro game, all that good stuff. But yeah, be sure to follow me on Twitch if you want to watch me play live. I stream every day from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/bumpa. And of course, drop a sub, a like on this video if you want to see more content just like this. I post educational content videos once a week on the weekends, so be sure to subscribe for that. All right. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.